Now, President Cyril Ramaphosa will today meet his Chinese counterpart Xi Jinping in Beijing.
The two leaders are expected to announce major infrastructure and electricity projects. And this is President Ramaphosa's first state visit since the government of national unity was formed.
SABC News international editor Sophie Mokoena spoke to International Relations Minister Ronald Lamola.
Minister, you had a meeting with your counterpart here in Beijing. What was on the agenda?
Yeah, thank you very much. It was a very productive meeting between two friendly countries, which we agreed to continue to deepen relations between South Africa and the People's Republic of China. And there will be very groundbreaking announcements to be made by the two heads of states tomorrow. And they span around issues of energy, logistics, the issues of green energy, the various issues that affect our economies, issues of economic trade, how South Africa and both countries can find mutually beneficial way that can enhance the current existing trade agreements and cooperation between the two countries, which amounts to almost 600 billion rands. How we can improve that and how we can continue to grow our economy, create jobs in South Africa, but also as a developing partner for the AU, including the partnership with regards to the Africa Free Trade Area. As you are aware, we do need a lot of partnerships in relation to the networks, the road network, one-stop border post across the continent. All these issues will be further ironed out tomorrow by the two heads of states, and agreements will be signed and announced for the public. But we also engage on various issues of multilateral cooperations at the UN level and also at FOCAC level, which we see as an important platform for our partnership, but also on various issues related to the Gaza, the condemnation of the unfolding genocide there. Both countries see it the same way. And you will know that China also led an initiative to bring all the factions in Palestine together, which we congratulated them, and we see it as an important platform to build the unity of Palestinian and the Palestinian state. And we also engage on issues of regional peace in the African continent, the DRC, Sudan, South Sudan, including Cabo Delgado in Mozambique through the SADC platform and also the AU.
Minister, you spoke about the issue of infrastructure on the continent. There is a concern that this leads to a situation where countries find themselves in debt trap based on the fact that sometimes they can't pay back. If you take a country like Malawi, which has experienced challenges, you look at Mozambique, not Mozambique, Zambia, that is now negotiating with IMF. And that criticism is also directed at China.
Yeah, obviously we agree on a number of issues with them. And one of the issues we agree on is in relation to issues of unconditional aid and finance to find ways which are mutually beneficial for both sides, in particular our country and their country, but also in terms of partnerships for the African continent in line with Agenda 2063 and the Africa Free Trade Area, because we do need support to enable us to have the necessary networks, road networks that can transport goods in between African countries, the infrastructure in terms of harbors and ports that will enable the Africa Free Trade Area to operate as a flagship program. So there is some level of understanding, even from the Chinese side, that agreements and such processes should not interfere with the affairs of each country, the sovereignty.
On the issue of South Africa, the trade between the two is skewed in favor of China. How are you going to ensure that you address the issue of the trade imbalance?
Yeah, indeed, that was one of the issues that we discussed in terms of addressing such an issue. And I believe the agreements that will be announced will further enhance resolve our deficit in terms of trade with regards to the products that we can bring to China, which is a very huge market, which we can be able to bring for this market. And the Chinese are welcoming products from South Africa with open hands, as you are aware. Already beef, avocado, and there's a number of our products that are in the Chinese shelves. They are open to us, opening up more, and that will be further enhanced through the announcements that will be made tomorrow. But also there are issues of beneficiations that we want to be done in South Africa, local manufacturing, the revitalization of some of our SEZ and all that. So all those issues will be properly announced by the two heads of states, which we believe will boost these issues of the deficit and will be able in future to respond and find a balance. But as you are aware, China is a very huge economy. It may take some time to be able to balance it, or it may take very long, but at least there is efforts to balance it through these agreements, and also how the trade is going to be managed.
And finally, Minister, on multilateral level, you spoke about the UN. There's a push that Africa must have a seat in the Security Council. And is Africa still divided in terms of who should occupy that seat? What is China saying? Is China supporting a seat for African countries or 2 seats for Africa at the Security Council?
Yeah, thank you. China does support the African Union position with regards to the reform of the Security Council. And there has been lots of engagements between us and them in this regard. And we see eye to eye, even at the UN level, in terms of these discussions. We will obviously have to handle our own issues in the continent as to who and how, which we will continue to do so. But as a country, we continue to believe that the AU should play a key and a major role in the Security Council. And we will participate as South Africa in that platform. You will be aware that even in the G20, South Africa advocated for the AU to be part of the G20 because we see our participation in any multilateral platform for the benefit of the African continent. So we believe that we should continue to play that role in whatever platform that the African continent support us to sit in, including that one of the Security Council. Will continue to be a voice of the African continent. And we believe that we need to speak in one voice to ensure that we achieve this intended objective.